Hi, I'm Sue O'Very and welcome to the In the Hoop Club. In this month's lesson, you're going to create your very own sewing do not disturb door hanger. So grab your machine and let's get stitching. Let's take a look at our materials. The first thing is we have two of these Bosal Craftex door hangers. They are cut in the perfect shape for our door hanger. The next is a tearaway stabilizer. In the instructions I called for a 12 by 20. It really just depends on what size hoop you're using, but we have a nice big extra chunk. The next is your front, which is the white of the door hanger, and then the back, which is the black of the back for the door hanger. And then the next large piece of fabric is going to be what will be the pocket, and we're using a really pretty Riley Blake shiny brocade. The next is a piece of fusible web tape, and this is splendid web. It's a 1/2 inch wide and 6 inches long. It's paper on one side and fusible on the other. And the last for our materials is going to be a piece of ribbon 3/8 inch wide by 5 inches long. Door hangers are really designed to have a larger hoop, at least a 6 by 10, but I created this design so that my 5 by 7 hoop users could work with the project as well. So here's what you're going to do in order to make it work. You're going to get a tape measure and you're going to measure up from the bottom all the way to 2 3/4 inch and just put a horizontal line. The next thing you're going to do is take the second door hanger that you have and line the bottom of the second door hanger with the first door hanger on top of that horizontal red line. And notice that I'm favoring this side. The reason why is because we're going to actually draw in the bottom shape of the door hanger. So we're really just transferring that shape. So here's one side. Now we're going to switch it to the other side, lining up the curved corner and side of the door hanger, the second one with the first one, and we'll just trace around that as well. Okay, so now you should have one door hanger with nothing on it, and the first one has that bottom transferred line. So take a pair of your fabric shears and we're just going to cut right on top of that line. Now what you're going to do is take the bottom portion and lay that right on top of the second door hanger and trace that shape. This way your shapes are going to be exactly the same for your first and your second door hanger. And now we're going to take our fabric shears and we are going to just cut right along that line at the bottom. And these two items you can actually just discard or save them for another project. And now you have two shorter door hangers, and this is for the 5 by 7 hoop. Let's go ahead and prepare our materials by using best press on all of the cotton materials. That's your front, your back, and your pocket. Just lightly spray with the best press and then use your steam iron to set that. Now let's go ahead and press the fabric to the door hangers. The first thing you're going to notice is we are using the goddess sheet because these door hanger pre-cuts have fusible on both sides. So we want to make sure we use the goddess sheet so that way none of the residue transfers to our ironing surface. The next thing we want to make sure is that you have the opening here for the front door hanger to the left and the back door hanger opening is to the right. This way when we put them together they will align. So for the front, let's go ahead and place our front fabric over top, and then for the back we'll just place the back fabric over top, and we're just going to use steam to set this. Okay, now you can just peel this fabric away and voila, there is your door hanger fused to the fabric. And we should have the same for the front. There's two kinds of scissors that I like for the next part of the project, which is cutting around the door hanger. And the kind that I like the most are the shorter craft type scissors. They're super sharp, just like your regular shears, except they're shorter and they're a little easier to manage. These are by Kai and these are by Ginger. So I'm just going to use the Kai ones for right now because they're a little lighter weight. And all you're going to do is cut around just the outside all the way around of the fabric. Do not cut the door hanger itself. All right, perfect. So now you have two door hanger pieces. You have your front and your back. All right, let's go to the next step. Let's go ahead and prepare our machine and our hoop. For the top of the machine, you're going to put what would be the outer satin stitching, and that is going to be a pink. And then for the bobbin, we're just going to use a pre-wound, or if you want to wind your own bobbins, use a 60 weight white thread. In the needle, we have our Schmetz 7511. As long as it's an embroidery machine in 7511 and you're comfortable with it, then that's the needle you want to use. So as far as the hoop, because we, for the rest of the project, are going to be doing this for the largest door hanger, which is the 6x10 size, I don't have a 6x10 hoop. My next size up would be 8x12. So whichever hoop you have that will fit this design, go ahead and hoop the stabilizer into the hoop and then insert the hoop into your machine and stitch number 1, which is going to be a positioning stitch to show us where to place the door hanger. Okay, so go ahead and set your machine up, stitch number 1, and I'll see you right back here. Great job on stitching. So the next thing we're going to do is prepare our ribbon so that we can place the door hanger on top of it. The ribbon's going to go at the bottom, right down here, and we have it so that you can place it wherever you want. If you wanted to make a bigger loop, it's really up to you. But what we did is we used our tape measure and we measured 1 inch from the outside, so right about here, and then 1 inch from the other outside. And then we're going to cut our ribbon in half so that there are 2 pieces. So now we have 2 pieces to our ribbon. What you're going to do is fold these in half so that there is a fold on one side. So there's the fold, and there are 2 raw edges on the other. The raw edges are actually going to be what goes inside the bottom stitching here. And you want to place those about 1/4 of an inch inside. So let's go ahead and measure that. All right, that looks good. So there's 1, and we're just going to use a little piece of tape at the bottom on the fold to secure that in place. It's right there. All right, let's do that again. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our glue stick, and I like this one because you can see right where you're marking. So I'm just going to go on the outer perimeter here. Of course, we're inside the stitching line. This way you all can see what I'm doing. All right, so there, we're going all the way around, and what we're going to do is once there's enough glue on there, we're going to place the door hanger with the fabric side facing up and the door hanger cutaway on the bottom, right on top. Okay, so let's go ahead and position the door hanger right over that positioning stitch. Make sure it's centered in the width and the height, and it's really where it should be, because our next stitch is going to secure this down. Good. So now what you're going to do is insert this back into the machine, and you're going to do the second stitch, which will be a zigzag stitch securing the door hanger to the stabilizer. Once you're done with that, I'll see you right back here. Excellent job. We've got that zigzagged all the way around, and it caught all the parts of the door hanger. The next are going to be your design elements. Take a look at the finished door hanger. The first actual design element is going to be the word sewing. Then we go to the do not disturb, which is going to be the pink again. Then the left spool, or excuse me, the right spool of thread, and then the left spool of thread. So go ahead and thread your machine and stitch each of those design elements, and once you're finished, we'll come right back here. Very nice. Doesn't this look great? And what's cool is you can change the colors as you make more. Okay, now let's go ahead and put the hoop aside for just a moment. We are going to create our pockets. So how we do that is you're going to take the pocket fabric and find the right and the wrong side. So this is my right side, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn this to the wrong side. So wrong side facing up, and you're just going to fold it in half height-wise so that now it measures 6 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So here's the fold. And just go ahead and give that a press with steam. Now go ahead and open the pocket so that there is a clear and defined fold. Take that little fusible web paper and we're going to place it the width of the pocket just below that fold, or right on the fold really. And let's go ahead and you can either close this and press, or you can keep it open and press. I'll tell you, I actually like to close it and press because then it crispens it up, if that's a word. It crispens the top of the pocket. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open this up, and all you're going to do is remove the paper. Make sure that it has adhered too. So let's cool it down and just remove and discard that paper. So now if you look here, you have a little bit of adhesive right at the top of, right at the bottom of that fold. So now let's close the pocket. Here's the fold, and we're going to press this one last time. Okay, now what has this done? Well, this has helped us create a really nice, crisp top of the pocket. Find a matching bobbin to match the thread that's going to be for the outer satin stitching. So go ahead and do that, and you can insert those into your machine. Now for the design and the hoop, what we're going to do is turn the hoop to the wrong side. So now wrong side facing up. We're going to grab our glue stick, and we're going to do exactly how we did in the front. We're going to fill in this whole area with glue. Now let's go ahead and place the back door hanger onto that positioning. Okay, and you can even use your hand underneath to give it a good firm press. Now before we go any further though, we do have our pocket that we need to position. So with the fold at the top, let's center it within the width, and as far as the height, you want maybe like a little 1/2 inch below the bottom pocket. Now if we were working with the smaller door hanger, what you might want to do is just place it so that there's about 1 inch between the opening of the door hanger and the top of the pocket. But we're working with the 6x10 version, so we're going to center it in the width, fold at the top, and about 1/2 inch below the bottom of the door hanger. Now when you work on the back of the hoop, you always want to make sure your tape is nice and wide. That way it has less likelihood of rolling as you're stitching. In fact, I like to make it so wide that it actually touches the hoop itself. That way I have something to push onto. So we're just going to put a few pieces just to help secure it. Okay, now when you go ahead and insert this into your machine, the next thing we're going to stitch is a running stitch. It's going to go all the way around, and it's going to help secure the pocket to the door hanger. After that, we're going to come see you right here. Wonderful. So you've got your hoop so that it's on the wrong side facing up. And the next thing we're going to do is remove the tape, but don't completely discard the tape because we're going to be able to use this again. Now that we have the tape out of the way, what you're going to do is you're going to cut the pocket leftover material all the way around, not cutting the actual stitching though. Now there's two kinds of scissors that you can use for this, and I have to tell you that it really depends on what your preference is, but for this kind of a project where I definitely don't want to cut anything by accident, that's where I like the duckbill, and I do prefer the small duckbill for projects that are in the hoop. I have better access and better control of the rotation, so I'm going to use these for this part of the project. And we're just going to cut from the outside of the stitching toward the end. Perfect. Now you're going to take this and we're going to place a couple of those pieces of tape back over the pocket. It's okay that they're in little sections, just that way you're not wasting tape. And we're just going to help hold that pocket in place while we're stitching. The next stitch sequence is going to be a zigzag all the way around to secure the door hanger to the stabilizer. And once you're done with that, you'll stitch your final stitch sequence, which is a zigzag all the way around, a nice tight satin stitch. So let's go ahead and do both of those, and I'll see you right back here. Alright, you got it all done, and now let's just go ahead and remove the tape on the front and on the back. Next thing we're going to do is you can just punch through this door hanger, or you can gently remove it. It doesn't really matter. I like to give it some aggression, so I just give it a punch like that and then rip out the rest. It kind of perforates the stabilizer as it was stitching. Now we're finished with the door hanger. We're just going to tidy it up a little bit. Any of the areas that might have like threads that might have stuck out, we're just going to go ahead and trim them off. Use a pair of little thread snips. I like the ones that have the hook at the bottom of them. That way I can really get into the jump threads in between the lettering. Even with a machine that cuts your jump stitches, sometimes it doesn't cut those teeny tiny little ones. So that's what this little guy is great for. So I'm just going to clip those. Okay. The next is you're going to take a seam sealant, and we're going to kind of take it, put it on our fingers, and go around all the edges. I have to say though, for this particular application, I really like fray check. It dries kind of crispy, which is to your favor in this application. So take a little of that fray check, put it on your fingertip, and then rub that fray check along an edge. So let's get a little bit more, rub it along an edge, and then wrap the little pookie threads toward the back. This is a great tip that I use for any type of a project where you have any of those little threads sticking out. So do that all the way around. Okay, you're all finished. You've got that fray check all the way around. Let it dry, and if then there's any little extra loose threads, you could just cut them off. I sure hope you had a really good time making your very own in the hoop sewing do not disturb door hanger. What do you do with this? I got a couple ideas. One, of course, you're going to use the back pocket for a little notepad, and then put a pencil right at the bottom on the loops. This way, when you are sewing, nobody will disturb you. They'll write a little note with the pencil and the paper and slip it under the door. It's kind of like old-fashioned texting. The other thing you can do, and here is the shorter version, is this would make a great gift for any of your sewing friends. Add one of the little friction pens at the bottom, and in the back pocket put any kind of your favorite sewing notion, a pair of scissors, one of the glue sticks, whatever you decide. So I really hope you had a great time, and don't forget to think inside the hoop. Bye!